All right, Saagar, what are you looking at?
Well, I've talked about Bitcoin a few times on the show, but to be honest, I've always been reluctant to deliver the case for it. Mostly because there's a lot of scammers out there. I never want to be associated with them. All I have in this business is your trust, and I've never, ever wanted to taint that. I also don't think it's necessarily appropriate for a guy who talks about the news and tries to be objective when delivering it to you to then be recommending something that he personally has a financial interest in. So here are my disclosures. Do not take any financial advice from me, and please remember, during this monologue, I personally have been holding Bitcoin for several years, and that does, of course, cover my thinking. But the reason that I am doing this today is because crypto and its world has now crossed into the news realm that we care about on this show. And when Canada, in its violent crackdown on the Freedom Convoy protesters in the city of Ottawa, has declared full-fledged financial warfare on dissidents. Now, as Crystal has laid out here already, Canada's financial warfare includes the ability of the government to make banks start canceling loans, closing bank accounts, closing transactions of those that they suspect are protesters. It includes canceling mortgages, car loans, a full-scale unbanking, akin to what we see in communist China. And just like China, we see that war extend to the cryptocurrency world as well. A common refrain in the Bitcoin or crypto community is that money is the foundation of all power. In fact, the history of currency and money itself is fascinating. Empires taking great care to mint coins and to force their subjects to use them as a means of power projection, as a means of taxation, and as a means of controlling all of commerce. If you think about it, you really can't do anything without money in our society or our economy, and haven't been able to for hundreds of years. You see that starkly with the fundraising for these Canadian protests. Oh, it's a cause that people believe in, so people can just donate. Well, you can, only if the donation website will let you. Boom, then GoFundMe just seizes the money. Actually, they tried to even donate it to a different charity. Sure, you can try and send it via a Christian website, Give, Send, Go. Oh, oops, Canadian government, they're just going to seize all that money. The most idealistic promise of Bitcoin fundamentally is that it is censorship-free money through its proof of power on the blockchain and the inability of somebody to take it from you without your private keys. In the best case scenario, we'll get to that. And it was born for moments like this. As many people stepped up and they're sending over 20 Bitcoin worth nearly $1 million to the truckers, along with a variety of other cryptocurrencies, including Ethereum, Solana, and many other coins. But we found out too, with the Bitcoin heist that I broke down recently, even in the West, we are free only to a certain extent in the world of cryptocurrency. Just listen to Canada's Deputy Prime Minister lay it all out just so nonchalantly.
So you're confirming that accounts have been frozen, both personal and corporate, but you're not releasing the information. And the actual follow-up is, I'm just wondering whether the bank accounts will be targeted of individuals who donated to the Give, Send, Go and the GoFundMe campaigns. Are they considered designated people under the Emergencies Act, meaning that their credit cards could be cut and financial services are targeting them as well?
Okay, so the names of both individuals and entities, as well as crypto wallets, have been shared by the RCMP with financial institutions, and accounts have been frozen, and more accounts will be frozen. Crowdfunding platforms and payment service providers have started the registration process with FinTrack. In terms of the specifics on whose accounts are being frozen, you now have the regulations. The financial service providers have those regulations as well, and they, working with law enforcement, will be making the operational decisions.
So, per Canada, not only are bank accounts fair game, but crypto wallets themselves. They're being targeted for freezing. In fact, it's not just the government in Canada that's like the Stasi. Ontario residents who hate the protesters jumped into the action and won the first ever case in Canadian history, allowing the government to seize crypto donations worth nearly $1 million. Now, as a crypto advocate for situations like this, it is troubling. It shows you that you are only as free as the government lets you, even when it comes to crypto, especially for people who are buying crypto and storing them with major exchanges like a Coinbase or any of these other trading platforms. Unless you're storing your keys in cold storage or on a USB drive, in reality, it is not as censorship resistant as it claims. Now, as my friend Joe Weisenthal writes over at Bloomberg, it is time for Bitcoin to become a better tool for money laundering. Now that's a tongue-in-cheek, as many Bitcoin critics look at it simply as a way to buy drugs online or to practice illicit transactions, but it actually is the opposite. For Bitcoin to be truly a tool to circumvent the powerful and to guarantee a fundamental and private right to transact in the 21st century, it actually does need to become a better and less surveillable tool. Does that mean criminals will use it? Yes, it does. And well, that sucks. But criminals, they use anything at their disposal, including large sums of cash. You don't see people maligning cash that way. Now, something some of you might have observed over the last few years is I've become a little bit more libertarian. It pains me to even say that, given my hatred of many libertarian economic positions, but I'm talking here socially and societally. 2 years ago, before COVID, I would have told you it is imperative that a government not have the full ability to be circumvented by a cryptocurrency, because it would diminish the legitimacy of its power and because dissidents could use it. And now, I'm literally telling you the opposite for the same reason that I would have been against it years ago, for a widespread and full usage that is not able to be tracked. I've watched the organs of the state of the supposedly free West be used to crack down now on peaceful protest of a serious issue. Here in the United States, we've seen the COVID regime marshal its way into every aspect of our lives. We have seen the Department of Justice brand angry parents domestic terrorists, and we continue to see the expansion of state surveillance power encroaching closer and closer and closer into the lives of its own citizens. In that environment, I think it's a national emergency that we don't have better ways to circumvent the financial regime. And I'll leave you with this dystopian warning from the Canadian police.
If you are involved in this protest, we will actively look to identify you and follow up with financial sanctions and criminal charges. Absolutely. This investigation will go on for months to come. It has many, many different streams, both from a federal financial level, from a provincial licensing level, from a criminal code level, from a municipal breach of court order, breach of court injunction level. It will be a complicated and time-consuming investigation that will go on for a period of time. You have my commitment that that investigation will continue, and we will hold people accountable for taking our streets over.
We have a lot of work to do to ensure that the state cannot wage financial warfare like that upon us. It won't always be pretty, but whatever that is, we cannot allow it here in the United States or for anybody else for that matter. And that's the thing, Crystal. I mean, I know you're skeptical of crypto as well. I mean, look, I get it. Like I said, there's a lot of scammers.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching.
That's right. Just as a reminder, you can become a premium subscriber today. Watch the full show completely uncut, our reactions to each other's monologues. You get to listen to it. You get to ask us questions, all that good stuff. Link is right there in the description or at breakingpoints.com.
Best of all, great way to say screw you to the mainstream media.